Imagine being a YouTuber that does reaction videos and gameplay videos, and for the first time ever, he does a review. Wait a minute. I know, it's weird, I'm doing a review of all things, but I kinda wanted to try something new for my channel, and I decided this. I mean, it's not terrible of an idea, right? So, to anyone that hasn't seen or played this awesome game, allow me to enlighten you just what Ninjala is. So, all the way back in 2018, Ninjala's first ever reveal was shown. And then, right after, I'm pretty sure nothing else happened, because if you look at their Twitter, both English and Japanese, it was made in 2020. And also their YouTube channel was made in 2020, so I feel like maybe the development was just kind of kept secret, I guess. I mean, that's my theory at least. Yeah, but anyway, so in 2019, Ninjala was revealed again. Kind of confusing. And it was slated for May the 24th, I'm pretty sure. Looking it up right now, I'm pretty sure. Until close to the release date, it got delayed to June of 24th. This was, of course, because the world was going to heck because of a certain disease. I don't need to explain what disease, because everybody knows. Well, anyways, June came, Ninjala released, and it was a big hit. As of recording right now, it has 3 million downloads, which is crazy to think about when it's only been a little over a month. But, I mean, it's not surprising. The game is pretty addictive once you start playing it. So now it's time to go into the first section of this review, now that I'm done the little history, which is the aesthetic. So buckle up. The game's aesthetic is mostly cartoony, which makes sense seeing how it has a webtoon series. And if you're a Ninjala fan, you know that at the beginning of its release, people were comparing it to a certain other game, aka Splatoon 2, which, I mean, is understandable. Their art styles do kind of mesh together. So, I mean, if a Splatoon crossover ever happens with Ninjala, I called it here first, just saying. So, as right now, as of Season 1, there are only 2 stages, which do sound a little bit disappointing, but it's fine enough. In Season 2, we are getting a new one, which looks really cool, so I don't mind. The first one, WNA Academy, is pretty basic, to be honest. I mean, it's more for the people that just want to complete their challenges, I guess, which, if you are, it's pretty useful because you can just fight people rapidly. But if you're looking for a more open and diverse kind of stage, then Eagle City is definitely for you. It has so many buildings that you can just hide in or go on top of to get high ground. There are so many, I want to say, gum zip lines that you can use to travel to different areas. Overall, the stages, pretty good. Now here's my second section, the gameplay. As for the basic stuff, you know, the jump button is mapped to the B button. If you press the B button twice, you do a double jump. If you go on a wall, you stick to it because, you know, you're a ninja. The attack button is the ZR button. You can do different combos depending on where you're moving the left joystick while attacking. But now I'm going to go into the Peri System. It's a pretty interesting system that really showcases what's so different about Ninjala. If you'd happen to get hit by an opponent, you have an option to hit ZL to enter a parry. A parry system is basically a kind of rock, paper, scissors format, where if you do one attack, if the person does an attack that is weak against your attack, then you win, and vice versa, you lose. So overall, the gameplay is pretty cool. If you enter a parry, it will use up your S-Gauge, which is the thing with the yellow bars, or blue bars, depending on how much you have. So use it sparingly, as if you end up losing, you're trapped. Okay, now that I'm done with the basics of the controls, now to move on to the more meaty stuff. So, as for time's sakes, I'm going to refer these attacks to depending on what buttons they correspond to, because I'm too lazy to look up their names. So for the Y attack, depending on what weapon you hold, it can do different stuff. Since I'm holding the Hatana, I do a sort of boosting dash attack. Now, it'll obviously be different depending on what weapon you hold. I will not describe each one because that would make this review way too long. And as for the X move, it'll be fully charged once you either have dealt enough damage or dealt enough damage to opponents. And then when it's fully charged up, you'll know because there's like a bunch of flames around it. It's basically your strongest attack. For me, since I'm holding the Hatana, it does a sort of ninja tornado. The other ones are like a dragon, a bomb, a sort of Goku kind of attack. But yeah, those are basically the special attacks that you can do. There are also gum attacks that you can do by holding the ZL button and then releasing with the ZR button. And again, it's dependent on what weapon you're holding. Also, you can do a gum dash by holding the ZL button, jumping, and then hitting the dash button. Now, I'm going to do a little bonus section by briefly talking about these Shinobi cards. Now, any Ninjala fans out there, you already know what these things are, but to anyone that's still considering starting to play the game, allow me to briefly explain what these are. So basically, they're the power-ups of this game. Basically, once you first start playing the game, if you go to your options, basically like equipping stuff, go to your weapons, you'll see at the bottom there are these Shinobi card slots. There's 4 of them, though once you start, there's only 1. Now, if you click on the first slot, you're greeted with about 7, I think, or 6 Shinobi cards that are all locked. But you can unlock them by using your medals that you've probably collected over the time. Though if you haven't, then you probably should. You can get them by either beating games or getting close to beating them, or by doing the story mode. I don't remember if there's any other ways to. Each Shinobi card can help you with a different thing. I'm not going to explain all of them because again, that would make this review way too long, but I will tell you about the 3 that I do use. There is one called Double-Edged Peri, which basically gives you an advantage to parries, basically by reducing both you and your opponent's health. So in case your opponent is very low, you're gonna get an easy time if you get a good parry. There's also Discerning Eye, which basically lets you see drones through walls in a certain range. There is another one called Ninja Sense Pro, which basically allows you to detect people behind you so that way they can't jump you. And there's a lot more Shinobi cards like those that are very helpful in certain situations. So yeah, that's that section done. Now on to weapons. At the start of Season 1, so far, there are 4 different weapons, and 3 of them have different disadvantages and advantages compared to one another. Let's start off with the blades. So basically, the blades are mostly the default weapons that you start out with. There's not really much else to say about them. They're basically the vanilla of the weapons. Now we move on to the drills. These ones, they may look the same, but they are faster than the blades by a lot. They don't really have any disadvantages or advantages compared to the blades, but they're pretty much faster. Now there are the hammers, which is where we're finally getting into the advantages and disadvantages, as these ones, they are the toughest. They will deal the most damage compared to any of the weapons as of Season 1. Though the disadvantage is that they are also the slowest ones, as doing an attack takes a whole 2 seconds compared to basically any other weapon that takes roughly half a second. And now the final ones are the Yoyos. Now these ones, they are the fastest weapons, which means you can basically do more consecutive hits. Though unfortunately, these are also the weakest ones as they do the littlest damage. As for me, I will always stick to the katana. Now on to my next section, the music, which has got to be my most favorite part of this entire game. Well, not my favorite part, but you know what I mean. So, the music of Ninjala is very unique and has a variety of different tracks. Most of the tracks can range from, calm and very relaxing to radical and extreme. My most favorite tracks, and if you're a Ninjala fan watching this, you already know what these songs are. My favorite tracks have got to be Night Reaper, Feel the Sensation, Jump Ramp, and Ninja Hero. Those tracks are amazing. And if you want to listen to those tracks too, just look up them on YouTube with the names that I just said. But yeah, this section is pretty short because honestly, I don't have much to say about music because I'm not a musician, so I can't really say stuff like, oh, the instrumental was very unique and classic. I can't really say stuff like that because I'm not a musician. So I'll keep this very short. The music, pretty good. Okay, now we're getting into the seasonal stuff. So this is basically where I talk more about the season 1 of things. So first starting, season 1, it's okay. I did hear around that the theme of this season is ninjas around the world. So I mean, I think that might be it. I don't know for sure. If you do know what it actually is, the theme, put it in the description if anyone even watches this. But yeah, actually talking about the battle pass itself, it's fine. It does have a lot of really cool stuff. Lots of emotes, cosmetics that you can put on your character. There's a couple of stickers that you can use, Epon logos. The battle pass is I'm very neutral with the battle pass. It's not great, but it's fine for the start. Yeah, so that's me for the battle pass. I guess I should probably say, in order to tier up, you do need to do these things called missions, which if you go to your battle pass and then click X, it'll take you to your missions and all the ones that you have. Some will give you lots of tier points, which will help you tier up all the way to tier 100. And then once you complete a few, they will go all the way down and give you little tier points, which basically means they're worth nothing. Yeah, so overall, I hope I didn't miss anything this season. Overall, this season is pretty good for the start of Ninjala, and I hope that in the future, Ninjala strives more in the future. Now, here's where I mostly talk about Gung-Ho Entertainment and how they've been treating Ninjala this past month and a half so far. I can tell that Gung-Ho Entertainment has been treating Ninjala with the utmost care, and they've been very generous to the community. I know a little earlier I said that it broke 3 million downloads, but as of recording now, it actually broke 4 million. And each time it broke 1 million, they actually gifted every single Ninjala player account 100 Jala, which is extremely generous when you think about it, because I don't think any other company would actually do that, give out their currency for free just because they got a lot of downloads, which I can commend Gung-Ho Entertainment for doing. So yeah, I really hope that Ninjala lasts for a very long time. Heck, maybe it might even become the new Fortnite. Who knows? I know I was actually considering including the first chapter in the story mode in this review, but I feel like I should probably make a separate review for that. So if I do ever talk about chapter 1 of the story mode, you will definitely see that in a separate review exclusively on it. So yeah, to sum up my entire thing, I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I made a review. This was definitely fun to make. Well, at least most of it was. I'm sure editing me is kind of getting stressed right now. But yeah, overall, I'm glad I made this. This review wasn't made for views. This was made because I wanted to do this. And nothing else, because honestly, I don't expect this review to get a lot of views. Like, maybe 10. Heck, I'd be happy with 10. But yeah, I don't expect reviews to take over my channel. This was definitely just an experiment, because I'm really passionate about this game, and I want to see it succeed. So, yeah, with that, if you're watching this review all the way till the end, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your life to watch my little dumb review. And with that being said, I hope to see you all in my next video. Goodbye.